Good morning for those of you in the US. Good afternoon for those of you that are in Europe. I don't think we have anyone in Asia currently, so I'll save the good evenings. But welcome to the International Trombone Hang. We've got a very special guest today. Massimo Pirone is joining us from Rome, and we're really excited about what he's going to offer with us. Most of you have been here before. If you haven't, welcome. If you're on the email list, great. That means you get the emails regularly. If you are not on the email list and you would like to receive an email every time we're going to have a session, which will include the Zoom link, just contact me. The information's either on the information you got, or we have a website or a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or Instagram, so you should be able to hopefully find us. If you need information, just ask me in the chat and I'll be happy to pop it in there. We do ask that you feel free to share the notices and flyers with other trombonists, because we want people to find out about all the great offerings that we can put together. But we ask that you do not post the Zoom link publicly. That please feel free to share the flyer, and then if people would like the Zoom link, you can send that privately or have them kind of get a hold of us. The chat will be open. Feel free to use it. As always on the internet, if you get something that looks suspicious, think twice and ask us. If it's a private message from a random person, we've never had a problem here, and I don't anticipate any problems here, but the chat feature is available, so feel free to use that. We will be recording and posting on YouTube for people that aren't able to be here live. Some people have schedules where they can't be here, so we'll make it available for them later. And other than that, just thanks for being here. And Dave, Teo, am I missing anything? Or
All right.
Good.
So we're going to turn it over to Massimo Pirone. Most of you know of Massimo and his international reputation. He's got his small horn today. He's got his big horn today. So we're going to get to do all sorts of fun stuff. So Massimo, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the great welcome. And I'm happy to be here. And sorry for my English, for my language. I try to do the best I can, And I play something for you. And after I spoke about the warm up, something like that, the daily routine, about that, after I wrote 2 books, one for tenor trombone and the jazz trombone, and one for jazz bass trombone. But it's only from the basics to the jazz, and it's also for a lot of my students, for show how to do something, for to develop techniques and something like that. I don't use a really warm up, I just in my life only I start with something soft and go through the daily routine, as I love some old books like Herbie Green, 1 hour a day, the book for trombone. I love that. I love Herbie. I meet sometimes a few times. And George Roberts' book I love for bass, and after we spoke about that, I show you something. Okay, for beginning, what I say to you all, I think about the best thing for me is the break control, the break, and I think to play really softly on the mouthpiece, and I try to really softer on the mouth, and then I play with a lot of breath, and also it's very easy to move my mouth when I play, like a flexibility, you know, the basic of flexibility. I use it for everything I play. And the same thing. And when I start the warm up, I start on the central left, and I play long tones, you know, not too much, but go up in chromatic, you know, until I get something until that, or maybe more, you know, and then I continuing to something like that, you know, harmonics slowly is about my routine for warm up is like that. Something 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes for just for start, and then I play and practice flexibility a lot, like and then something like that in all positions, you know, until the seventh, you know, and then thrilling, like a calling, you know, something like that, and but very softly on the mouth, you know, no strong on the mouth, very free. And also, I think I spoke with many players like Malcolm McNabb, you know, the trumpet player from Los Angeles, because he is playing something about his playing, and I really found a great better things for me, like really easy to when you play, relax all body and thinking about just the mouth and the breath. Everything on the breath, you know. And the rest is very easy, very relaxed. Don't tension, you know, everywhere. Throat is very open, you know. And okay, this is the basic for me for the playing, you know. And when I start to play the flexibility, I go into my daily routine, you know. Is it just I don't know, warm up is no really my important in my life, you know. It just start, you know, just a little bit softer and then go through the daily routine. It's very close. And flexibility, then chromatic scale, chromatic. Until like this, like a D, like D, you know. I normally I play jazz and commercial music, and I love to play the dawdle technique. It's not double tongue. I use the single absolutely, and I play the dawdle, you know that is a jazz technique, but dawdle tongue is also I use it for a standard no jazz things stuffs, you know, no jazz stuffs. It's the same as a dawdle, but it's just a little bit using different way, seem closer to the dagada, but it says dadala, dadala, dadala. It's just a little bit stronger than jazz standard way of playing, you know. And after that, I moved to my daily routine about the scale, a lot of scale. I use it to try to studying, you know, from many years. It's a daily routine, you know. Alternate, you know, for change the tonality, something like that, you know. Something like that, you know. And also some other stuff on the scale, but the warm-up is important for, I think so. It is much important. Use the breath in first, then use the mouth in first. You know, you think about mostly on the breath, and then you play softly. Also, I use it to put the mouthpiece mostly on the back, on the lower lip, you know, than more than upper lip. You know, is not use the pressure on the upper, but just on the lower lips, the pressure. Yeah, you know. Yeah, that's. So you have some questions? I'm happy to replay about that. You know.
Massimo, this is Martin. It sounds very. Hi, I'm in Toronto. Just this is another Italian city over here.
Oh yeah.
We have 330,000 Italians and 2 radio stations for Italian people. Yeah. What you're describing is very typical for commercial players. I have a teacher as well who talks exactly about what you're doing. He also is very big on range and other such things and flexibilities that you do. He also works a lot on tonguing. How much time do you spend per day working on tonguing?
How much time for about the toning for develop the developing in the tuning the daddle.
Actually, he's single tonger. He practices 16th notes at 144 beats per minute.
Okay. I prefer the double tongue because the double tongue is a little bit harder to play. You know, with double you move half time the tongue. You have two notes with a single movement. You know.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. I think so. I think so. Is if you use that is really good for every kind of music. You know, it depends on what you how do you do that. You know.
Massimo, one question. You have a special exercise for classical nerds, how to go on doodle tongue.
Oh.
Because I, as a classical musician, I never use it.
Yes.
And sometimes we play musicals in the theater, and it would be nice to know how to do it correctly.
To play that.
So, you have any exercise or something you would?
Oh yeah. It's really hard to understand how to do that, because there's the first note is a da, the second is a da la 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 la. In fact, is the second note you say like a paddle or middle, you know, dul is the same. Dul and is the same, you know, dul. Just the side, the left and the right side of the tongue, you know, is a little bit teeny, you know, the la. But you for understand that you need to practice very slowly and on each note, you know, like that. But when you call the third note, you don't need to call the da la with just the vocal, you know, not the D, not D, but just A. Da la 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 la. Because if you call the D again, the tongue is really, you know, is blocked a little bit. Is no fluid, you know, for to have the fluid daddle. You need really come si può dire? Aspetta, lo dico in italiano, più rilassato. È rilassata la lingua.
It's more relaxed. It's more relaxed.
More relaxed. Yeah.
But is this so for da la? It's for you three notes.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And the middle note with the tongue dl.
Is the same.
It sounds a bit. You said it sounds a bit closed.
Yeah.
But actually, it does. If you play some fast run, it doesn't. You cannot really hear it, or actually, it makes it even more interesting, probably. No.
Yeah, but
if it's a bit.
You need to have slowly for understand.
Yeah.
Another thing, but this is a hard technique because it's really strange to play a note with the tongue fixed in behind the teeth. You know, you play with the, you know, with the tongue on the teeth is a very strange for normal players. You know, it's a really hard to understand. It is a completely different than standard. Also, another technique for jazz phrasing is the ghost note. The ghost note, maybe in classic players, sometimes when you play a jazz feel or something, you know, you need that. It's you know, is a really particular technique because it's the opposite of daddle. You know, ghost note is something like that. You know. And this as a this is the technical, you know, is a dal 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 dal. And this technical is especially for ghost note. And the first note is a da, the second is a l, just l, very close, is not open on the, just a little bit, you know. Ciao. It's a very a little hair on the side of the tongue, you know, just a little bit, not like a daddle, you know. And this is important because the breath don't go again on the horn like this. I just closed the note, you know, the mouth, and then get off the tongue again with the D, you know, dal 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 dal. For example, a ghost note and daddle is a really standard way of playing, or Carl Fontana, you know, Carl Fontana, you know, the style or Bill Watchers, you know, something like that. Is that still style is very close. This is ghost and dawdle together, you know. As I say, really important if you want to play jazz in this way, you know, with a fast dawdle and ghost is a mix set. You know, just if you play a dam, jazz dam, like a this this part, you know, you need a ghost note. When you play, you need to understand for the ghost note that the note when you put the tongue for the L, for da da da, the note need to go down when you close with the tone, with the L. I don't move the mouth, you know, just the tongue without hair, more hair, the note go down, you know. And you think you place a lot of notes, but it's just an effect, you know. It's very, you know, it's good effect. No, it's a jazz. It's just feel jazz important, but in fact, with the techniques, it's very easy to play that. You know, also on bass trombone, I would like to give something on bass too. For I have here my single bass, you know, single Yamaha, old Yamaha. Mouthpiece is the same resonance as I spoke before about is my model. And also for warm up with the bass is the same, is basically on mostly on hair, and mouth is very softly. There's a lot of hair, you know. It's not pushed like a tenor. Tenor is just very more hair, more speed in the hair. You know, in the bass is very slowly. You know, you think about a big river. You know, very slowly, a lot of water, slowly. You know, something like that. In tenor trombone is most, you know, teeny river and more fast. Most, you know, I think that about the breed about that. I love to play in a lot of jazz, George Roberts stuffs for the sound, for, you know, also Edward Kleinhammer spoke about George Roberts is the best sound of the bass trombone, you know, is a very, you know, something like that, you know. You know, there's Maggie Boopy from Nelson Riddle record, you know, George Roberts, It's Evergreen. And he play, you know, I meet a lot of times George he play so like you know, he told me about you listen Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, and try to play in the same way, like a singer, you know, and the breath in the same things, you know, like a, you know, really like a singer, you know. And it is a very good example for understand. You think George play think about mostly about Urbi Green, 2 octave below, you know, and it's a very good example for understand the bass trombone is a horn like a tenor, you know, the same like a trumpet. The bass trombone is, I think so, is the same type of instrument. It's not different. Many think about the bass trombone about something really no singing horn, you know, play the dam, a ballad, you know, warm sound, a vibrato, and something like that, you know. Also, the technique on the bass trombone, like in the jazz phrase, is the same. I use it the same on the tenor, with the double tone. Is the in the warm up, I play a lot of long tones. Is the same what I say. George Roberts, he say to me about play, and also Paul Felice, you know, is jazz great bass trombones, trombonist, say to me about play on long tones, you know, beautiful sound, and think about that. Something like that is very important for to play the same sound with the trigger and without trigger. Something Anna Raff said about you take money for play the 5 notes the tenor trombone don't play, you know, because you have a trigger and you play from E flat onto B natural, you know, and you take money for that and you need to play better, you know. And the same jazz for also for technique is important to use something daga daga da is really hard to have a fluid and warm sound in the bass, and they use the same a double tone and the ghost note in the bass. But just with the single triggers, it's not really easy to play jazz in the fast, you know. But it's okay for now. You know, that's all. That's all for me. If you have questions about something, you know, I'm happy to show you.
I have one, Massimo. Let's say you have a really hard gig. You play all the weekend, more hours. And what you do when your lips are destroyed and you need to play, you know, as a recording musician, you cannot say, oh, I'm tired, sorry. Yeah. I mean, it's your money, your lips, it's your money. So basically, you need a trick when you're completely destroyed. What you do?
Sometimes in the past, you know, I play like a salsa music, salsa gig in the late in the night, you know, something like. And then in the morning, I stay in the studio with Ennio Morricone, you know, and I play soft note, you know, pianissimo with a destroyer mouth, you know, something like that. But normally, I used to play in with a lot of breath, you know, and the mouth is very hard to destroy, you know. But when comes something very strong, you know, concert with a heavy, you know, heavy playing. When I finish, I try I put a mute, and I play low notes in the tenor or bass, very pianissimo, you know, long tones. When I finish the gig, about 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and in the morning after is really bad for me. This is the only thing for save my mouth, save my work, you know.
Thanks. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
You play also tuba, no, Massimo? If it's needed.
Yeah. Also, I play a little bit trumpet too.
Okay, so but when you switch the mouthpiece for some, I'm also not so delicate, but I know people having troubles with changing from bass to tenor. Was it for you like normal thing? You just take a mouthpiece and play, or you had to search for a special size of mouthpiece? Or...
No, yeah, I think so. This is for me is the fortune. I'm in the first time I changed. I tried some. I found some trouble, but just for understand is the same thing for me. Play the same the different horn, but just is the approach on each horn, you know, is different. But I basically I use a lot of breath, and then don't push the mouthpiece on the mouth, you know. It's very light, my mouthpiece on my mouth, and then and they also play a lot of flexibility also in the bass, you know, like a it's very light for me playing. It's not I don't depend from the mouthpiece, you know. And I change also for symphonic tenor mouthpiece and the tuba mouthpiece and the trumpet mouthpiece. I use the 7B on the trumpet, and I use the like 1 1/4, or on bass, and on tuba I use the like a 33 millimeter, but it's just I don't remember the name. Maybe 24, close to 24 W Bach on tuba. It's adjusted. The approach is the breath and stay very, very light on the mouthpiece. This is very good for to found a good for less trouble when you change horn. I practice each horn every day, because this is also maybe 15 minutes for a day, but I play all horns in on each day, you know. There's no leave something for mount. No that.
Sorry, I missed the half of your talking. My kids throw something on the floor. Amazing.
Okay. Other coffee on the floor.
Thank you. I will recheck the recording for the answer.
Massimo, I have a question for you.
Oh yeah.
Most bass trombonists, when they go down to like low G, low F, they have a shift somewhere in the way that they position, and need to
change the position.
Change the position to get really low. But when you played flexibility, it seemed like you don't have a shift. Is that something that you work?
No, I never had that problem, you know. It's a D, double D, you know. I not change it in something, you know. It's the same like this on the up, you know. I don't I don't. Many years ago, I tried to change something, you know, but I found a position is really close for everything, you know, from. Same. Also, I don't need a little bigger, you know, sound. 60 Shilky is just very and a teeny, you know, teeny rim. It's not good for me, you know. I it's a Mikael is, I think so. It's like a 1.25 or something like that, you know, a little bit more maybe. But I think
yeah. Phil Teal also talks about not shifting, and if you ever have the time to go through his bass trombone book, it's all pedal notes, played for hours.
Oh yeah, Phil,
and,
yeah.
And
I played a few times with
he talks about not switching as well. He's in his book, he makes a point of saying you never switch when you're down low. If you listen to Alan Raff and other people, they say switch.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people are going to do whatever they're going to do. I like the not shifting thing myself.
Yeah. Because I use a little bit more out that for everything, you know. George Robertson do the same. George do the same, you know. Because I don't. It's similar. I use a little bit down, out that for everything. You know.
And you're using a very different rim size on your bass trombone than you are on your tenor, aren't you?
Yeah. Also, I use it for. Yes, this is another thing. I think I use my easy mouthpiece for bass, and then when I play tenor, I use an easy tenor size. You know, it's like a 630, like 6.75, like 6.75, but a little bit shallow. You know, you know, it's good for you know something. You know, if you play a ballad. Something like that. But it's very bright. It's a bright and then push no on the mouth. You know, very light on the mouth.
Yeah,
I think it's a
I think
secret for.
When you say light, you're really talking about using very little mouthpiece pressure. Is that true?
Yeah, little. And the try to push on the lower lip. No. I try to in this way, you know.
Yeah.
The mouthpiece pressure. It's not in this way. Not in this way. Is that because I help for moving easy, you know. It's a world famous, you know. It's really hard to play. I try now, but I don't know. I don't know if you go in a good deal, you know. You know, David Steinmeier, Silent Night, and Amazing Ending. You know, as a I B double BB, you know, BB flat. But if you play in this way, breathe and very easy and close the mouth. You know, pressure, breath, and then no pressure on the mouthpiece, but breath, is helping.
I also play bass trombone, and I use a Bach, the equivalent of a good Bach 11C. It's a mouthpiece made in Canada by Yamaha for Alistair Kay.
Okay.
And that mouthpiece is really just a very standardized good Bach 11C. But on my bass trombone, I'm using the equivalent of a 1 1/4 G.
Oh, 1 1/4.
But and the rims are very different, but if you don't use much pressure, you can switch horns very easily. Is what you're doing now. Yeah.
Yes, good. Yeah, I don't think it's good to take for tenor a size close to the bass. I don't think it's good for move. If you are different, and is a good size for tenor, is better for change.
Yeah.
Because it's two different horns. If you think about it's a similar horn, I think it's wrong.
Yeah.
I think so. Is a breath is very important. No pressure on the mouthpiece. This is a secret for me. And the basic, everything about is just very important. Through the flexibility, understand how much is good to stay to play very softly on the mouthpiece. With a minimal pressure on the mouthpiece. Okay. Also, for the high note, I use the vocal. Something like that, that is I think is a standard for all people. I think so. Is no play like O, something like that in high note. You need the I. Helping for the speedy of the breath.
I have a question. Sorry, maybe this is a little too technical, but what register or what note do you start to change to E? Is it the F or the B?
Oh yeah.
About where does it change?
Okay. I think in the low note I play like here, like a just a little bit like this. Start here. E. Here, okay, you understand? Maybe.
Yes, I do. So maybe around a B flat where it becomes the E, and when you go kind of higher, does it change more still?
Yeah, more in the very high, change like a like this. But it's really important the begin the tongue, the tongue, the front part,
like the tip of the tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tip of the tongue. Yes.
In the lower teeth, in this way, like like S, for to have open the very free blowing for the breath. A lot of students do this wrong position, and something like that, and close the passage of the breath. Is a it's a bad thing for many students. In a high note, in a double, I play like this, like a really. You understand? Or
yeah, that's really cool. I'm gonna try that.
The bass, sorry. I think it's
double
really
high F
hard
on a
now.
bass.
I
That's
don't know.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, for very fast, fast breath, Also in my book, I explain a lot because for many years, when I teaching, for 30 years and more, I teaching, I try to do to the student the tools for understand, not just you thinking something like that, you think it, no, you do something for to do that, tongue behind the teeth, take a breath, very full breath, and then push it, something like that, and the vocal, the mouth, one close behind the other one, the lower behind, is very important for understand. And also in my book, I try to do the more clear things for develop something, the technical. You would like to play something?
Oh, me? No,
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's like, I think you made your point. I think you made your
No.
point though, that like you played a high F on a bass trombone, and that
Oh, yeah.
you didn't even, like that proves that it's the technique is working,
Yeah. Just
without the
also
instrument.
the tuba.
That's
Yeah.
a very good demonstration.
Yeah. Also the same thing with it. This is just a little bit heavy to play, but with technical is the same thing.
I wanted to hear the double high B flat.
Double.
No.
Oh, double high.
There's always some smart ass out there.
I have one question about style, actually, because many times I find that classical trombonists don't think as much about the style. They sort of have one style, which is just a classical trombone style. But I found that I find jazz trombonists are much better going from like salsa to like Dixieland to like, and how do you approach learning a different style if you go into a band and suddenly you're playing like how do you make? I think classical players could really benefit from this.
Yeah, many times I play in different bands from years and years. I play with a swing music a lot of times. Like two Italian tour with Natalie Cole, with a big arrangement from Marty Page or Bill Oldman, and a really swing. Like Sinatra. And on bass trombone, the style is and first is a George Roberts, then the first of all, for something like I've got you in the skin, it's or something like very softly swinging, something like Dave Taylor or Bob Minster, something like that, It's really different, stronger, the sound is very, very forte, something like that. For bass trombone, it's just really different style. For tenor trombone, it's very complicated. It's because it's mostly have some parts like a solo, and need to know the real style, like a Dixieland, excellent style, like a 20s or something like that, or stringing music. You know, string is like a Herbie Green, you know, or a ballad playing is also is in the swing time. You know, Tommy Dorsey, you know, is the first of all, and created the singing trombone. You know, I think so. I think so. Bolero is a spirit of some about Tommy Dorsey, about something like that. You know, with a single trombone in classical, in only I think so only Mozart in the tuba mirum thinking about the trombone as like a singer. You know, like a so like a Tommy Dorsey style, you know. It's my personal version of Mozart. But Tommy Dorsey is a and the vibrato in the Tommy Dorsey is only with a slide. In a jazz, after is a vibrato is important because in a jazz, after like J.J. Johnson, Kay Winning, Franco Rosolino use the lip vibrato. It's different than it's a different style, you know. And if you play salsa like Willie Colon, you know, something like that, very strong, you know, play forte, you know, or very rhythmical, something like that, you know, tap 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 tap, very short notes, you know, rhythmic and something like that. And also the Stan Kenton style is a move from is a little bit between Latin music and jazz, you know, and they created a very style unique. The first one is a Kay Winning in the Kenton band that can change the style and created a really unique style. Like something like that, you know, it's a different vibrato. Vibrato is like Bill Harris, something like that, you know. And bebop is a really different style because it's in opposite of swinging, and also is don't want to do the same or the music do before, you know. Before is Tommy Dorsey. And after. It's a different way. You know, it's a different way of playing everything, you know. You need for understand, naturally, you need to hear all the records and studying about that and try to emulate, you know, something like that. there's this Dick Nash version of The Shadow You Smile. You know, it's a ball style, but it's different than Tommy Dorsey, and it's really important to listen all grades for understand the way, the style, different style for each work, you know.
Yeah, I just maybe to try to say to classical players, this is nothing you can practice or read a book and you know it. You know, I think this is what Massimo tried to explain. You need to eat all the music and be musician, and it's less on technique and holding the horn. It's more understanding the music. What we classical nerds, I can. I mean,
another thing is when you play, you try to take off what you have inside, you know, what you think, what you hear for years in music, and try to take off from you more than copy, you know. If you play classical, I play classical in a conservatory. I play for years. I play professional, also the classic music, and it's a really hard music for play exactly in the same way, you know, and also the style. Mozart is in this way, and then Bruckner is a different way, absolutely. But in jazz and the other style of music is a really different style. It's really hard to move, you know, it's really different. And you need to listen, hear a lot of records for understand.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Massimo. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. The thing that I play both classical and I play in two big bands, one on bass trombone and one on lead. And what you find is that the serious improvisers, the people that are really doing jazz, listen to everybody. They know everybody's style, from Tommy Dorsey to Frank Rosalino and anything in between. They spend time transcribing the solos to learn every single note. And the journey in jazz, I thought in some regards, because as you get older, and I'm 66 years old now, I play maybe half an hour a day. But the other thing I find with jazzers like yourself, you don't warm up. You don't, you just play when you pick up your horn. You know what you need to do. You switch instruments because it's all on the face in terms of what you're going to do. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's a small mouthpiece or a big mouthpiece. You're just going to pick up the horn and play because you're using little pressure, and you just but you spend so much time learning what you want to say, how you're going to say it. And the classical people, you can spend hours just doing long tones because the sound is the most important thing. But a jazzer, no, it's not. It doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, me too. I think the same. Many in classical think about the sound and think about the sound for 5 hours a day, you know. And no jazz player or swing player, when you play, try to create the really good sound, you know. But is in my head, I have my personal sound, you know. It's different, you know, than practice all day for take something. It's not from my head, you know. Yeah, it's really important. Also for jazz, it's the same thing. For improvising, you need to have in your head what you want.
Yes,
it's not in the horn. Maybe a lot of people thinking about I take this horn and now I play my best sound, you know, but it's before the mouthpiece, you know. Everything is before the mouthpiece, you know. Yeah, that's a great,
fascinating.
It's really nice to speak with all of you. It's a really nice meeting.
Been a treat.
Yeah, it's fantastic to hear. Just I mean, and thank you so much for kind of taking us through all the different styles. I think that was really, unique. A lot of our sessions, and it's been, our sessions have been more heavy on the classical side, because there are a lot of players that are interested in developing technique to just make a good sound and play well. And so that's something that is obviously very, there's a lot of interest in that. But I think that, and I hope that when people get a chance to listen to the video and hear the different styles that you laid down just so easily, that can be a real inspiration. Yeah, just thank you for that. That's really.
Oh yeah, it's you're welcome. It's a very, I like that.
and for those of you that want to maybe take a deeper dive, just so you know, Massimo does a lot of teaching online.
Oh yeah,
Massimo, if you're okay with it, if people maybe contact us and want to get your contact information,
oh yeah,
to maybe
absolutely
work with you.
Also for the book, I also for the book, if you want, I sell directly.
Oh, okay, all right. I posted a link to Hickey's music so people could see it.
Oh yeah,
and see what, kind of get a description of it. But yeah, if you're interested in that, obviously there's going to be a lot of great material in there. So let us know and we can connect you with Massimo and make that happen. But thank you so much for sharing some time with us today and sharing. I feel like whenever the great players share what they do, it's like they're sharing a piece of their soul, a piece of their heart. And that's something to be very cherished and special. So thank you for sharing yourself with us today.
Oh yeah, it's very. Thank you to you. Thank you for you all. It's very nice.
Awesome. Great. Well, enjoy the rest of your afternoon or morning or what have you. We've got a couple of sessions lined up for the future weeks. So remember, check out our website, our web page, I should say. It's just a page off of the website, but we've got a schedule of who's coming in the next coming weeks. So we hope that you can tune back in. And thanks again to Massimo for a wonderful session this week. And thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Massimo.
Thank you all. Thank you. Nice to meet you.